How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I just wanted to talk about some of the logic or the rationality that we use for drinking alcohol, aka excuses. The first excuse is that we drink because it's traditional to drink. You know, countries like Ireland, England, USA, most of the Western world now, has got some form of tradition where they have a national drink, or they have a national way of drinking, or it's traditional in a certain culture to drink, or whatever, I mean, the bullshit excuse that sure, we're Irish and that's what we do, or we've got a great tradition in England of going to so many different ale houses, and ale is a British tradition, or the German tradition of drinking beer, the French and Italian, Spanish tradition of drinking wine. Whose tradition is this? Who's making money out of this? Who's benefiting from this the most? And it's the people who are selling the stuff. It's their job to make it seem that it's a tradition. One of the oldest tricks in the book of advertising is to make you think that the company has been around for so long, or a process has been around for so long, or a way of doing things has been around for so long, or a product has been around for so long. And we jump onto that bandwagon because we're used to it. And in all fairness, in our own culture, in our own tradition, in our own personal culture, we've grown up into an environment where people drink. Now, you might not have seen it in your own home, but you've definitely seen it in the wider world around you. If you've gone to college, it's a big part of college. If you go to work, it's a big part of work. If you celebrate, it's a massive part of celebrations. No matter what area of life you look into, alcohol is there, right? Rearing its ugly head, or the promotion of alcohol is there. The promoters of alcohol are there, So, I mean, as I say, alcohol is just a fucking liquid in a jar, It's just a chemical compound, nothing more than that. It's the people that put this together that are the ones that say, well, this is the way it is, this is the way we do things, this is the way it should be done, and such bollocks, right? And we use it quite readily, as I say, as an excuse. Excuse number two is we drink because everyone else does it. I mean, again, it's the same thing as tradition. It's just an excuse, It's, if everyone else jumped off a cliff, would you do it? If everyone else stuck their hand in a fire, would you do it? People stopping smoking in droves now because everyone else is giving up. But the problem is that you've got to stand on your own 2 feet. If you want to get something out of your life, you've got to start thinking for yourself and start thinking, well, this is not good for me personally. If everyone else in the world does it and they ruin their own lives, does that mean to say I have to do the same thing? It's just another excuse. Another excuse is that people say they drink because it makes them feel good. At the end of the day, if you've been drinking for 30 years, then feeling good with alcohol is probably the only fucking feeling good that you understand. That's what I found about myself, was that I didn't understand any other type of feeling good. Feeling good for me, going out and getting drunk, drinking, being with my drinking buddies, being in a pub, being sat in front of the television with a few cans of beer, and the feel good factor in that was diminishing as the years went by. But at the end of the day, it was what I knew. It was all I knew. And the more aspects of my life were taken over by alcohol, the more it became the sole way of me feeling good, So once you stop drinking, I guarantee you that, if you put the effort in, all requires effort. Nothing comes free of charge, right? If you want to not put any effort in, I think, it's only going to be a matter of time before you go back to the alcohol as being the solution to feeling good, because you'll be miserable without it. But if you put the effort into thinking about things that you want to do, thinking about things that you can do, thinking about areas where you can push yourself forward slowly, and putting those thoughts into action, then you'll find so many other different things in your life, in so many different aspects of your life as well, that will make you feel good. It's unbelievable how much your life can improve if you put the necessary thought into it and the necessary effort. You have to put the effort into the thought, and you have to put the effort into the action first of all. before anything else can happen. But once you do that, you'll have a great life. You know, you don't need alcohol. You know, it's the biggest con job of all time, right? In my life anyway. The biggest con job in my whole life, the biggest con that I was ever opened up to was the alcohol con. Cigarette con, but that's gone now. The next logic and rationality excuse that we have for drinking alcohol is that it brings us health benefits. And you and I both know, right, when you get up in the morning and you have a hangover, right, there is nothing healthy about that, right? Even when you're drinking, you know, when your brain and your body are reacting to alcohol, that is not a healthy reaction, right? It's an unhealthy reaction. You're slurring your speech, right? You're staggering all over the place. You can't think straight, right? All those things that are happening inside your body. You know, if you had those without the alcohol, you would seriously think that there was something seriously wrong with you, right? So from a perspective of the feeling that you get from drinking the alcohol or the consequences of after you've drank the alcohol, there is no health benefit to you or anyone else from drinking this stuff, right? We like to think that there's a health benefit, and maybe, you know, one glass of wine a week will open up your veins more, or will dilute your blood a bit more, so allowing your blood to go through your veins a bit more. But for me, that's only sort of because we've got other problems in our lives, right? We've got an unhealthy diet in our lives, which is making our body fucking unhealthy in the first place, right? Your veins are clogged up in the first place. So thinning your blood out by taking an occasional glass of wine might be a solution to that, right? But there's far more healthier ways of doing this, i.e. eating a fucking healthy diet in the first place, right? And stop abusing your body in the first place. Then you won't have to do this, right? But for me, there are certainly no health benefits to drinking alcohol, right? I've said this time and time again. 3.5 million people every single year die from drinking alcohol. Over 200 different conditions are caused from drinking alcohol, right? Any study that you will find out there that points to benefits to drinking alcohol, these guys have got an ulterior motive for saying that. They're either working for the alcohol companies or they're trying to make a name for themselves in the scientific world, right? But it all comes down to the same thing, people making excuses. You know, maybe there's a scientist out there who wants to make excuses for himself for drinking, you know. Oh, that means I can have 4 glasses of wine a day instead of fucking 1, you know. Another couple are because we are socializing or because we're celebrating. And these are all false constructs, right, that are built by our society, by our culture, by the powers that be to try and get us to drink this stuff. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not only the alcohol companies that make a profit out of this. You think about how much tax is put onto your bottle of wine or your can of lager or your bottle of whiskey, right? And it's an easy thing for the governments to say, well, you know, we're putting the tax on because, you know, it's to stop people from drinking too much, right? But, you know, ironically, when people do drink too much, when people overdrink what they're supposed to drink, then the government benefits from that, you know. It'd be different if the government said, well, all this money that is allocated to alcohol advertising or alcohol consumption, all the money that we're making out of people that are drinking is going to go back into the industry to prevent more people from drinking, right? But you don't see that. The only big widespread advertising campaigns that you will ever see about alcohol is drink driving. And you know, I'm sorry for anyone that's killed on the roads. I've drove while I've been drinking alcohol in the past. After I've drank alcohol in the past, so I've driven while I was drunk. Let's get this out. And I'm ashamed of doing that, right? I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have put my own life at risk. I shouldn't have put anyone else's life at risk, right? But the amount of people that are killed on the roads through drunk drivers is minuscule in comparison to the amount of people that are killed in general through drinking alcohol. So, you know, if I saw a lot more, if the government came out tomorrow and said, yeah, that they're putting all the money that they ever made out of alcohol into preventing more people, into educating young people not to go into alcohol, then I believe them. But, you know, I don't believe anything the government say nowadays, you know, so why should that be any different, you know? So look, celebrating is another thing, you know, that you can cover until you're blue in the face. Almost every celebration, you know, from a wedding to a baptism or bar mitzvah, whatever, you know, it's all surrounded by alcohol, you know. There's alcohol everywhere, you know, when whether you're celebrating that you've just passed your final exams, or you're celebrating that you've retired, you're celebrating the birth of a new baby. It's about alcohol, you know. Alcohol is used as a celebratory thing, so I'm not going to go too far into that. Just to say, that's the tip of the iceberg as far as excuses and rationalizations and why we drink, you know. Apart from anything else, you know, it's a poison, it's a toxin that you're putting into your body. If you're watching these videos, then you're looking for information about alcohol. I don't know whether you're looking for information to tell you that it's okay to drink alcohol, or you're looking for information to tell you, well, you know, it's okay to drink smaller amounts of alcohol. For me, alcohol is a toxin, and it's got no place inside your body, right? Not in the level that we're putting it into us. So I'm going to shut it down here in case I just ramble on a bit too much. So if you have any questions at all about this, any comments, or any solutions for this problem yourself, any ideas for future videos that you'd like to see, any topics that you'd like to see covered, then give me a shout. My name is Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Take care of yourself. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth. Onwards and upwards. Good luck to you. All right, bye.